How to tip a hairdresser. Tipping for work well done is very common in Canada and the United States, and may appropriate in some situations in European countries. Tips also provide a critical part of the economy in countries like Egypt. But tipping as a practice is almost non-existent in countries like Australia, New Zealand, Japan and China, and in some circumstances could even be considered offensive. Sorting your way through the mash of international tipping customs can be very confusing, but tipping your hairdresser for a job well done is one of the more universally accepted practices. Steps. 1. Start with a base tip of 15% of the total charge. This represents a tip for excellent service. Note that tipping practices will vary from country to country, and even between regions in the same country. For example, 10% could be an acceptable tip for good service in the United Kingdom. If you're not sure of local tipping practices, either ask a local friend, ask someone else at the salon when you book your appointment, or apologetically explain to the hairdresser that you'd like to follow local custom but aren't sure what it is. 2. Upgrade the tip to an acceptable maximum of about 20% if the hairdresser performs additional services such as a scalp massage, or goes above and beyond the call of duty. For example, squeezing you in for an emergency appointment or staying late to see you. 3. Tip the person who shampoos your hair separately from your hairdresser. Unlike in a restaurant, tips don't get shared between workers at the hair salon. If you feel awkward giving cash directly to the shampooer, you can leave it for him or her at the front counter. You can do the same for the hairdresser's tip, but make sure to designate how much of the total tip is for the shampooer and how much for the hairdresser. 4. Downgrade the tip for poor service, including making you wait an unusually long time or a substandard cut. Everybody has bad days, so consider tipping 10% if your stylist usually provides a great cut but wasn't quite on top of her game today. Tips. Think of tipping as a good business practice for expressing mutual appreciation. You appreciate your hairdresser for doing excellent work, and she's more likely to go to extra lengths for you if she feels appreciated. Tipping is one way of showing respect and appreciation for your hairstylist's work. But you can also show respect by showing up on time and not fiddling with your cell phone during the appointment. Tip extra if you bring small children into your hair appointment or make and receive any unusual requests. If you're still confused about whether to tip your hairdresser in a foreign country, watch what others do and consider whether tipping is common in other situations. If you don't tip for food service in a restaurant, you probably won't tip your hairdresser either.